Oh, I did want to say just, and it's all because of everyone on the call, especially Kevin and Michelle, that to the extent that it matters, but like this group would be kind of the first ever to do this. Like I really worked really hard. I always work hard not to reinvent the wheel. Like I always try to, improve on things. But then in this particular regard, I couldn't find anything, and then I just kept on asking Kevin over and over until he, to the extent he can be annoyed. Like, is this being used? And I mean, dude was the CMO for Brookdale. I mean, that's on the stock exchange. And they're not using it. I mean, I know they have tools, but nothing that there are so many tools out there, right? That say you caregivers, you do this, right? Or someone pushes the button, you come. But there's not anything that I've seen that, except maybe Ella, that says, hey, we think everything you do and everything you see is critical. In fact, more critical than anyone because you are spending the most time, and we're just going to quantify that. Quantify that for safety, quantify for you as a professional to hopefully kick back savings. I think in the future we can talk to insurance companies about reimbursements for all the hospitalizations you're preventing. I think the sky's the limit on this, and it's just a tool actually. But at ALG, which I have also found is very unique, it's like I don't know. I've never met a assisted living business that accepts Medicaid. I just haven't, right? And Kevin was telling me that Brookdale didn't even replace him with another CMO. That's amazing to me, right? So I know that this thing doesn't work outside of ALG, at least for now. So we want to make sure that that it really sort of mimics the great sort of vision and care that's happening in ALG.
And I think to your point, Wilson, that what this really does is point out to and validates for our caregivers how important they are and how important their observations are. I think that often we think that the CNAs and PCAs, they're the ones that are living and working with these residents every day, and they know when something's not right. They just know intuitively, something's different. And
Yeah.
This gives them an opportunity to kind of report that observation and have it validated by their supervisor, resident care coordinator, and the rest of us. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah. I envision at the end of the day, the caregivers would go through their list and see it all green, right? And see that all the risks are gone, right? And just say like,
Yeah.
I did that. I mean, I do that.
Yep.
That's who I am, right? Just very click. They already know that they're great, right? But just to have this thing that's saying, yeah, you are great, like every day, it can't hurt. It can't hurt.
Well, I think that, also the opportunity to kind of build in those rewards. I think that, we incentivize. I know in other companies I've worked with, we incentivize the sales team and so forth. But what do we do to incentivize the caregivers? And I think this is a stepping stone to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is invaluable for continuity of care, right? Because even if we have the highest trained, most competent caregivers, they're in and out. There's 3 shifts a day, and it's not the same that are shifting, and we know shift change isn't always the most comprehensive. So I just think that this is such a valuable resource that they can open up an app quickly, not have to go to a computer terminal, log into Matrix Care, bring up different residents, clicking all over the place. Just bring it up and they can see what's been happening with that resident.
Yeah. Well, I'm sending right after this call the email, Michelle, for all the login access. Okay. And then I also included on that email a spreadsheet. So for those people that, say, hey, I like this, but these are the 5 things, we have a global spreadsheet that we can sort of add to improve the app.